Make sure that you are completely comfortable on your chair. Preferably in this sequence, don't have your back resting into the backrest, but if that feels uncomfortable, then do slide right back into the back of the chair to have that backrest supporting you. The important thing is that the sitting bones again are really together with the tailbone, that tripod that is keeping our pelvis beautifully supported and level, and therefore the midline is free and open, allowing the respiratory diaphragm to be free and open. That is essential for effective breath. So before we're moving into the breath sequence, we are activating certain acupressure points. So we have done a movement sequence to gently activate our interstitial fluids, our fascia, and that in turn brings balance into the nervous system. We have activated the proprioceptive system, the autonomic nervous system, to bring it, to support it in its self-regulating ability. And we have done pummeling into our connective tissue. That self-massaging is such a good feature and tool to use on a daily basis, as are these acupressure points. So there are many acupressure points in the body. There are many sequences of holding acupressure points. And I've chosen a particular few that are easy to access and easy to combine, and are very effective for regulating the autonomic nervous system. So like we did lying down, we want to come back into our abdominal points. So feel where the belly button is. Bring index and middle fingertips about 2 finger widths on either side of the belly. Soften the shoulders. Gently tuck the chin into the throat. Close the eyes. And notice your breath. Don't change the breath. Be the listener of the breath, the witness of the breath. And as you're holding these points and as you are witnessing your breath, it might begin to slow down. Tuck the chin slightly into the throat to open the back of the neck. A long, settling exhalation. And then we're bringing our right index and middle fingers onto the solar plexus point. So the solar plexus is about halfway between the belly button and that curvature of the ribs at the bottom of that curvature of the ribs moving away from the very bottom end of the sternum. So right there, we want to place our index and middle fingers of the right hand. You can rub that point and then settle the fingers there. The left fingers are coming into the occipital notch that we met on Saturday. And remember that occipital notch is there are these muscular ridges on the back of the neck, and right in the center there's a dip. That's the occipital notch. We're placing the fingers there. You can rub there too, and then settle the fingers there. Make sure your feet are fully grounded on the mat. Tuck the chin towards the throat. And again, be the witness of your breath flow. And maybe begin to invite your exhalation to be noticeably longer than the inhale. Gently open the eyes. And now bring your left hand, the index and middle fingers of the left hand. So you're keeping the of the right hand. You're keeping the left hand in the occipital notch. The right fingers are coming on either side of the nose root. So right into those inner corners of the eye sockets. Gently, don't stab them in there. Gently place them there. Again, tuck the chin into the throat. And breathe into the space between your fingers. Release, open the eyes. Let's rub the wrist point on the pinky side on the left, and then the wrist point on the right, the pinky side of that wrist. We want to bring our hands, now the heels of the hands, into the waist and folding our fingers towards the midline in the back body. So we're basically in the central realm of the vertebral column, and on either side of the vertebral column, again about 2 finger widths to either side, there are those muscular ridges, you'll be feeling them, and we want to rub those points and then soften the fingers into it. Those are the kidney points. Really feel those palms warmly supporting the ribs while you're doing that. And then bring both sets of fingers under the collarbone. So where the collarbones come towards the center, there are those bony nodules there, and just below there, we want to rub quite vigorously into those points. They're actually the end point of the kidney meridian. And then settle the fingers there. Gently close the eyes. Breathe into these points. You might feel a longer exhalation coming through. And now let's bring these 2 sets of fingers, one right into the center of the upper lip between nose and mouth, and the other at that same level just below the lower lip. Those 2 points. Hold them briefly, and then take your index finger and thumbs above and below the mouth and rub quite vigorously, slicing that index finger and thumb along. And then one more time, place the fingers onto those points, gently close the eyes, tuck the chin into the throat. Deep exhalation. Take the right hand to the back of the head, left hand onto the forehead. A significant parasympathetic hold. Hold it for a while. You might sense that your head might be wanting to move a little bit from left to right. That is called fascial unwinding. It's a good thing when that occurs. And then we are completing our acupressure hold with a vagus sequence. So we spoke a lot about the vagus nerve on Saturday. This is a very nice sequence to support your vagus while you are in your everyday rhythm. Right fingers are coming. Can you feel this big muscle at the side of the neck? It comes all the way up to a bony nodule behind the right ear. So I'm placing right fingers onto that nodule, right at the back where that muscle muscle attaches. It's a sternocleidomastoid muscle. This is the mastoid process, and we're tucking those fingertips just into that groove right at the top of that muscle. The reason why we're doing that is because the vagus nerve exits from the underside of the cranium, and I showed that to you on Saturday, and it travels along that groove, so we can actually directly access it through our touch. So keeping those fingers there, we're now taking the left index and middle fingertips into that curvature of the right ribs where they attach to that underside of the sternum and where we feel the soft connective tissue. So right there, placing the left fingers there. Why are we doing that? Because the subdiaphragmatic vagus, the dorsal vagus, emerges here. It travels through the respiratory diaphragm, which it innervates, and we can have direct contact with the vagus pathway here too. Gently close the eyes, tuck the chin into the throat. Breathe slowly, gently into this present moment. You are right here, right now, and nowhere else. And then open the eyes to see where I'm placing my fingers now. I'm feeling for that collarbone on the right and where it reaches towards the shoulder. Underneath that, there's a tiny little sort of dip or under that collarbone. Leave the fingers there. Those are lung points, acupressure points. They're also called washing the heart with laughter. And the vagus plays an important role for lung innervation too. Gently close the eyes. Allow a long exhalation to occur. And then we're placing the same fingers right into the center of the sternum. You can rub there a little bit and then settle the fingers there. And that is a heart point. And the vagus, the ventral vagus, is a key innervator for heart balance, heart rhythm. Tuck the chin into the throat again. Soften the shoulders. Deep exhalation in this present moment. And then let's change over. So left fingers are coming into that sternocleidomastoid groove, right there at the attachment at the mastoid process. Right fingers into that soft tissue next to the curvature of the left ribs. Close the eyes, tuck the chin into the throat. Long exhalations. Bring the right fingertips into that point just below the distant collarbone. Wash the heart with laughter point. And then taking the same fingertips into the very center of the sternum. And a long exhalation into this very present moment. Let's take both fingertips into the grooves on either side where the mastoid processes are located behind the ears. And then take both fingers into the heart point. Deep inhalation here. A long, full out breath. So that sequence you can do in your own time and take much longer doing it. It's a wonderful meditative process, and you can do that for 10 minutes, and your vagus nerve will say, thank you.